Welcome to I Wrote That, a podcast for entrepreneurs who are navigating the crazy world of authorship. Whether you're just starting out or already established, we want to help you navigate the publishing world with confidence. My name is Larissa Sohan, and this channel is brought to you by Next Page Publishing. With the help of our industry partners, we bring you the insights on the most challenging yet most rewarding parts of being an authorpreneur, along with the actionable tips to help you move your brand and your business forward. Don't forget to download your free copy of our book, Author Your Way to Your Next 100K, by visiting nextpagepublishing.net/author-your-way. Let's meet our next guest. Welcome back to another episode of I Wrote That. My name is Larissa Sohan. I am your host and the CEO of Next Page Publishing, where we help entrepreneurs, thought leaders, change makers write books that really make a difference in not only their community and who they're trying to serve, but in their own lives so that they can get more time freedom, cash freedom, and really fulfill the role that they started the business for in the first place, right? That is why we have people come into our podcast that can help us learn how to do that better. And I'm really excited today because I have my fellow publishing industry expert alongside with me, someone who I've known basically since I started this journey a couple of years ago. We have Nicolette Halladay. She is a storyteller, publisher, and visibility strategist who helps entrepreneurs and changemakers share their message with confidence. As the CEO of Inspired Hearts Publishing, she empowers heart-centered leaders to amplify their impact through storytelling and strategic marketing. A Colorado native and adventurous mom of three, she's passionate about authentic connections, bold conversations, and helping others truly be seen. Welcome, Nicolette.
Hi, Larissa. Thank you so much for having me.
It's so good to have you back because this is at least your second time on this show and in many years. So a lot's been changing since then with us and with the industry. So it's really fun to have you back.
Yes, I think it just feels like such a full circle moment. I've been watching you grow and expand and just always so great to connect and visit with you. And I'm excited to bring some wisdom to your audience today.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. And I was talking about how Nicolette and I know each other is we connected over, she did a multi-author book, was it 3 years ago now that get
It
published?
was, yes. Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
Larissa was one of the contributing authors in Get Published. Industry experts share their secrets. And I think it was kind of the precipice for you to kind of launch. I mean, you had a lot of things. You were writing your solo book, like you were doing a lot of things at the same time, but it was kind of like the beginning of your publisher journey, I feel like. So.
It was, and I was so grateful for you and Bridget Cisco. I'm like, oh, how do I say your last name? Not that I forget it, but how do I say it? You and Bridget were really the people that I looked to for guidance in those early days of like, okay, what the heck is going on? Can you explain to me? And I kind of watched from the background and then of course participating through that book. But I remember sending you more than one voice memo over Facebook being like, okay, I have this situation. What would you do? I'm just so grateful for every time you took time out of your day to answer my questions. I mean, that shows real leadership in this industry. We can look at our fellow women and not see competition, but see community. And that's beautiful.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. We're still doing it today, right? That's why we're
Right?
here,
Yeah.
bringing some wisdom to your audience. So
Yeah,
it's
because
awesome.
we do different things, right? Like we
Mhm.
specifically work with entrepreneurs and on solo books, but you're more on the multi-author publishing side. And I'm so excited to have this conversation because one of the questions you submitted was how do I know which one's right for me? Do I go solo or do I do a multi-author? So let's just dive right into it. And what's your take on when one is more appropriate than the other?
Yeah. So a solo author, a solo-led book, and a multi-author book are not the same thing. They're very different experiences. And depending on where you're at on your journey, your confidence, there's a lot of things that go into it. But I think the biggest piece is what kind of time, energy, attention do you have in starting your writing and publishing journey? And what is your confidence level? Because what happens with a multi-author book is you get to join with other contributors. The publisher is leading that experience for you. So you can't really talk yourself out of it, which I've seen several solo authors do, where it's like, oh my gosh, it's not good enough, or backtrack, or so it's kind of like, hey, we see you, we understand some of those hesitations, and guess what? We're still moving forward. So I think the biggest kind of pulse check on it is how comfortable do you feel with the visibility piece of it? Because that is such a big part that I think catches a lot of people in the process
What do you mean by that? The visibility piece of like,
of putting themselves out there. Like
mhm.
writing the book, there's a lot. I mean, obviously, they're writing a solo book is a lot of time, energy, attention, but the publishing part is what I find actually catches a lot of people. And the hesitation, is this even good enough? Who do I think I am to write this? A lot of those things that kind of can come in for a solo author. A multi-author book is like an opportunity to kind of move past some of that before stepping into the solo author journey.
Yeah, and I think it's really like it's so dependent on the person and the brand too of what you're looking to get out of it. Because when I did my first, I've done one and only multi-author book that I've done with another publisher. Like we did our own in
Mm,
a very different aspect. Oh my goodness, almost 2 years ago now, and then we did a fiction one as well. But for me, it was the gateway. It was kind of like, do I want to go down this path? I mean, I was already down it. This is how I viewed it, right? Do I really want to go down this path of writing a full fiction book? Because or sorry,
mm.
nonfiction book by myself, in the multi-author books, you get a word limit, right? Like
Yeah.
Nicolette told us we had, I think it was like 3,000 words or something, which is essentially a
Mhm.
chapter, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the team is curated for you of who's going to be helping you edit it and who's and all of that stuff. So if you have no experience with publishing and you're like, I want to write a solo book, sometimes my recommendation is like, why don't you start with a chapter in one of these? Because one, this, like you said, the experience is curated, right? You get
Hmm.
a community aspect too. That was like one of my favorite things with Get Published was the community because now we're all like-minded working towards one goal. And I do want you to have some space to talk about that too of what, because you were one of the few people, like I've talked to other people who facilitate multi-author books or who've been a part of them and none of their experiences compared to the community that we had with Get Published. And so you and Bridget did just a fabulous job, like the queens of that, I would say for sure. But there is this opportunity to go in there and test it with kind of removing that fear of failure is what you're talking about, right? Like because you are handheld the whole way. And if at the end of it, you're like, heck yes, I still love this. I still love the publishing world. I want to go further in, then maybe then's the way to go to solo book. Because it's also a lower ticket investment in a lot of ways, right? You don't have to invest in editing the entire book for yourself or designing the cover all by yourself. That's now shared cost, which is huge.
Yeah, I think it's really great, like toe in the water to a publishing journey. I've known people who just love multi-author books and will have like contributed to like multiple multi-author books that they love the container, they love just getting to show up and write a chapter. And I've known a lot of people who have taken that journey and that momentum and then gone on to write a solo book. And so it is just a really great opportunity to kind of see the process, how it's going to work, how do I work, how do I write, how am I going to respond to the editing process in like this minor kind of mini incubator in a way. So yeah.
Yeah. I know from editing my own books, this is one of the reasons I don't ever stop writing is because I don't ever want to forget what it's like to be in the author's seat, right? Like I want to remember because every time I get edits back, it takes me like 3 days to put my ego down before I'm like, okay, they do have my best interest at heart. Like they know what they're talking about, even though I'm an air quote expert in this.
Yeah.
We all have blinders, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
absolutely.
but I think on the other hand, kind of on the other side of the spectrum, someone who's maybe listening to this, who's like, I just am ready to go all in. Like every part of my body is saying, write the solo book. You don't need the toe in the water. And those people, I think my best advice is listen to yourself.
Yeah.
Listen to your own self. And if you're getting the nudge, like, oh, a multi-author book, what would that mean? What would that look like? Or I'm ready for the solo author experience, you know.
Yeah, you do know. And I want to talk about that, like how you choose your publisher, because there's a lot of people doing multi-author books and a lot of people doing, like me, doing solo
Mhm.
books. And
Sure.
choosing the right publisher for you really lines up with what your goals are, because they're like some of those people that are chronic contributors to multi-author books. They really just like the process. They like the community that comes with it. They like that,
Mhm.
that bucket list feeling. But then you get the authors that are like, no, I want to grow my business around this.
Mm.
This is going to be my flagship. You really need to look at your publisher to decide, are they going to support the book to the degree that you want? And are they attracting the right co-authors to it as well? Like you have built up a really good, I'm going to call it fan base, whatever you want to call it, fan base of people that want to work with you. So you know who you're calling in. But if you've never worked with this publisher before, or you've never seen or read any of their books, definitely go look at their past things, look who they're attracting, ask them about their marketing plan. Because if this is going to be your centerpiece and this is your toe in the water to really make something out of your book for your business, then you really need to start like to ask those qualifying questions. How are you going to market it? Like, who are we attracting? What are the other chapters going to look like? What are the subtopics of this book? I think that was, I went through a spree of reading a lot of multi-author books to kind of see what was happening. And my biggest pain point with them was that it was such a varying degree of writers. You had some
Mm.
writers that were wicked strong, and then you had some writers, they were like, "Ooh, you could have used a couple more rounds of like coaching." Really, that's all it is,
Yeah.
right? But I think if you partner with the right publisher as one of the authors, you're going to have that degree of trust, and they're lining up with your goals as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, feeling a connection with a publisher, whether you're writing in a multi-author book or a solo book, is going to be so important and valuable. You need to be able to trust your team, regardless of what container you're writing in. Ask for testimonials, ask for what other people are saying. I think that's a really good indicator of the experience that you're going to receive from working with that publisher. And of course, yes, check out their work, look at what they're doing. But I always also recommend, what are people who've worked with them saying about them?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think it's a big indicator too of like, again, what are your goals? Because if your goals are a community and making connections in your industry with like-minded people, then you're going to want to find a publisher like Nicolette, who spends a lot of time building up the community. If
Yeah.
your goal is to sign a lot of clients, then you might want to sign with someone like, join a book that is specifically focused on client reader conversion.
Yeah.
That's one of the main goals. And so the whole book is structured around turning readers into clients. And everybody's different. That's the beautiful part is you have options. But you have
Yes.
to know what your goals are first.
That's right. What is it that you're wanting to get out of the experience? And know that we are living in incredible times. You can find a publisher who's going to support you in that endeavor, but do some research. You don't have to, say yes to the first opportunity that crosses your path, unless it's a full body yes. I am like,
Mm-hmm.
I believe in trusting yourself, but it's okay to say, hey, this is an awesome idea, and I want to look around and make sure this is the right fit.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference between like healthy skepticism and
Mhm.
fear, right?
Yeah.
You want to do your due diligence. Let's say you're going to drop $2,500 to $5,000 on a chapter or editor or whatever you've budgeted
Mhm.
for. You do want to do your due diligence. You do want to trust yourself, but there is that moment, and I love it. It's after every sales call. I've started actually warning people now because I'll get on a call with someone and they are an energetic whole body yes. But our programs, they're up there in price sometimes depending on the
Mhm.
package that you're looking for and the support you want. And I can see it in their eyes. I can see the moment their brain clicks in. They are an all energetic yes. And then their brain starts going, oh, yeah, but that's scary. What if you fail? What if you're
Mm.
no good? What if, right? And so I started
Mm.
prepping people like when you get off this sales call, I want you to write down the 5 things you're most excited about from this call because your
Mm.
brain's going to get involved and it's going to tell you all the reasons this is a bad idea. But you were in front of me and it was a yes. It was an energetic whole body yes. I love that phrasing, by the way. I'm going to use that all the time. So we're going to take a really quick commercial break, and I want to come back because I want to talk about visibility and how you can actually use your multi-author books because there's a variety of ways, and I think there's a lot of misconceptions and missed opportunities for how we can actually use these books. Are you hoping 2025 will be the year you write your brand-centered book? Or maybe you have a business book that isn't doing what you want? No matter where you are on your entrepreneur journey, we have the secret to your success, and we're going to give it to you for free. In our new book, Author Your Way to Your Next 100K, we share with you the formula and tools to guarantee your business book is a success. Within the pages of Author Your Way to Your Next 100K, you will learn from the expertise of a nonfiction publisher and the real-life examples of authors who have seen incredible success using our proven strategies. We are also going to give you access to our workbook, where you can tangibly assess where in your business a book can make the biggest impact for you. This book and the companion workbook are specifically built to help entrepreneurs like you write and sell a book that converts readers into clients with the power of artful invitation and deliberate storytelling. At Next Page Publishing, we believe in helping you achieve massive returns on your investments. Your time, energy, skill, and experiences are valuable, and you deserve to create a tool that matches your worth. This book is our gift to you. Visit nextpagepublishing.net/authoryourway to access your free copy today. Okay, we are back with Nicolette, and she's going to tell us more about how to actually use our multi-author book. So if you have a multi-author book and it's sitting around, you don't know what to do with it, we're going to talk about that. But also, if you were thinking about doing a multi-author book, it's really good to go in with your eyes wide open on how does it actually fit into your business model or into your life or whatever your goals in. So Nicolette, from your experience, you've done these quite a bit. How have you seen your authors and how do you coach them to actually use these books?
Well, the really cool thing about a multi-author book is it leans to the credibility that a solo author book does too. And so just being a published author lends to some credibility. It's a kind of a credibility booster when you're looking to get on podcasts or media opportunities. Saying you're a published author, even in a co-authored book, is really an accolade. So you get kind of that quick win from it, and the benefit without having to write the full book. So there is that. So just that differentiation. But I think some of my favorite ways, honestly, that I've seen really, really work, and the reason why I put such a value on the community is because the authors that you're writing with will become some of your biggest allies, referring partners, partners in business, and all kinds of ways that I have seen the community support each other's businesses. It's my favorite thing to see in a co-authored book, actually.
Oh, I love that so much because I'm writing about it in our new book, Author Your Way, about how diverse the opportunities for success are when it comes to authorpreneurs, right? It's not old school publishing is like book sales. We're going to focus on book sales. That's
Yeah.
all the metric of success is. And when I started working with entrepreneurs, I realized, oh my gosh, there is this whole untapped field over here, and offer stacking is one of those things that I think people miss out on when they get into communities. Is sometimes, and we talked about this actually before we started recording, is like we can look at each other like, community over competition. I think some people
Yes.
can get into these groups and
Hmm.
think they're doing the same thing, close to the same thing I am. They're serving the same people. They're going to be in
Mhm.
competition. I need to stay away from them, or worse,
Yeah.
steal from them. But once you get
Mhm.
into these communities, you can offer stack. And that's exactly what I did with Get Published. Is one of the contributors and the editor, Ruth, she continues to be our editor. Like, we have kept that relationship going, and you and I have kept relationships going, and we keep, sending things and talking to each other, because you're absolutely right. You get into those communities and there's millions of dollars hidden in there. You just
Yeah.
got to be willing to find it.
Yes, and just partnering and just looking for those opportunities. I am a strong believer in collaboration over competition. I just think, especially as women, we are wired to work together. We are wired to support each other and to fill in where someone else maybe isn't as strong, and to lead where we are feeling called. And so that's one of the reasons why I think multi-author books are specifically attract female entrepreneurs and also cater to their kind of natural strengths.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's a feminine energy in community, right? There's
Yeah.
just always has
Yeah.
been that. that
Yes.
nurturing feeling of when you succeed, I succeed. I love going into groups and watching other people share their wins. And then also having people clap for my wins, right? Like I'm not,
Yes.
I need it as much as the next person to feel like I'm doing good. And those communities really, really provide it. Okay, we're gonna wrap up here right away, but I want to ask, like, you've seen many, many authors go through this process. What's some of the bigger wins or the most like odd wins that you've seen from your authors?
I mean, you're one of them,
Oh,
Larissa. I mean, you literally, when I met you, you were really just like, hey, I'm starting this publishing company. This seems like a good like container. I'd like to connect with editors and other publishers and formatters, all the things. I remember you were putting together like a very early on container and you were like, I'm thinking about doing it for free. And I said, don't do it. I said,
mm-hmm.
charge. Then you said you listened and you did it. And I've just seen your business, the momentum that you've built from that first, like from us working together till now is huge. It's massive. So I think it's the catalyst. It can be a catalyst to a momentum. I don't think that necessarily contributing to a multi-author book is going to change your life. I think that it can be a stepping stone in the process of building momentum for yourself and your visibility and your business. So I think that's the biggest thing is like, is this going to be a momentum creator? Are you going to take the momentum? Are you going to keep saying yes to new opportunities? That's a bigger thing than is contributing to this one book and I'm like change everything for me. Probably not unless you make it.
Yeah, I just had this like hit last night because a lot of people write books because it's their legacy, right? They want to leave their
Hmm.
legacy. And it's honestly, it's never sat well with me, and I couldn't figure out why. When people are, even my team inside my walls, I'll say like, here's the 10 reasons that they should write a book, and then they'll add number 11. Well, don't forget about legacy, and I'm like,
Mm.
but
Like
it's the book's not the legacy; it's what you do with it,
yes, it is.
right?
And it's stepping up to the table. It
Hmm.
is putting your hand up and saying, I am here. I have the right to be here. I am valuable, and this is what I have to say about it. Like
Yeah.
that is a massive confidence builder. So all these things we do in our business, for our visibility, for our message clarity, it's all really a stepping stone to making us feel more confident in our offers, which is actually going to bring in more money.
Yes. And I will say that piece of advice that you gave me like 3 years ago of don't do free, do paid. That was probably my first piece of business marketing that like actually stuck of like the catalyst for know your worth, right?
Hmm.
Charge what you're worth and charge it with confidence because once you start realizing the results you get people, there's no denying your worth.
Yes, there's no denying your worth, and people will show up for what they're paying for.
Hmm. That's true. Nobody shows up for free anymore because it was
Yes, it's
free.
like, yeah, it's free. And oh, did I say I was gonna do that? And all of the things. But when you put your money where it's actually an invitation and an opportunity for people to say, this matters to me. I'm putting this money, this investment down, and that means I'm showing up for it.
Yeah.
And so it's actually an invitation for people when you charge what you're worth and you're giving these opportunities for people to step in to new growth opportunities to invest in themselves. What a gift, like honestly.
Yeah. I always say this, saying yes to me is not, you're not saying yes to me, you're saying yes to
Yeah,
you, right?
exactly.
Yeah,
You're saying
absolutely.
yes to yourself and you're saying, I trust you to help me get there,
Yeah.
which is
I can
like
see the
such
vision.
an
I can
honor.
see that you have my best interest at heart, and we're going to do this
Hmm.
together. And you kind of said it earlier too. I mean, a lot of solo authors burn out because they see like all of the things they have to do. And like Nicolette's and I's job as your publisher is to make it one step at a time, to take
Yeah,
that overwhelm on behalf of you. We put it on our shoulders. You don't have to worry about that stuff. We're going to do it all for you. You just got to show up.
yeah.
And we kind of have this unwritten rule inside of our publishing house is kind of like you show it's not dirty, I promise, but show us yours and we'll show you ours. But it's like show us you care and we'll care too. But until you
Mhm.
show that you're invested, we cannot give you the same level. We can't bring you more energy. You got to bring it to
Yeah.
us first.
We can't fill in this for you. Like you actually have to lead in a way, and then we have the infrastructure to help guide you through it. I think that's one of the reasons why, because I have worked with some solo authors and why I'm like full circle back to multi-author books and feeling so energetically aligned with these containers is because I realized that I wasn't doing a good enough job with my solo authors in helping them feel really confident in the process. And there's better people who are more suited for it, like you, Larissa, who are really instilling that confidence so people can feel really confident. It's such an important piece in the process. I think we both understand that. And I'm like, multi-author books, I know I can help people feel confident in this process. And it can be the stepping stone to bigger things for them in their journey.
Absolutely, right. And you also have a lot of connections in your industries. So I think that's one of the things that makes us strong is we know the value of community and connection. When an author expands beyond us, we have the
Yeah.
next people for them waiting. And that's
Mhm.
just so
That's
beautiful.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
Absolutely.
Nicolette. So what advice, my favorite question, what advice do you have for aspiring authors?
Connect with a publishing partner who is going to be able to really support you where you're at now. Because before you start writing, actually, it might be a great idea to get some consultation and make sure that you're writing in the way that's going to support your goals in the best way. So, start making connections, start asking questions, start paying attention to other people who are maybe publishing, and find a publishing partner who is really going to be able to meet you where you're at and then help you expand to where you're wanting to go.
Yeah. And I find the moment you put it out into the world that this is my goal, I need these people, this is who I need to support, you are suddenly flooded with them. Call it the algorithm monitoring you or whatever.
Exactly.
But if you're listening to this episode, there's probably a reason. There's a resource that either Nicolette is offering or I'm offering or one of our connections is offering. There's
Yep.
something here for you. All right. How can people get in touch with you? And do you have anything you want to offer them before we sign off?
Yes, I actually have a new ebook that I just put together, How to Become a Best-Selling Author Without Writing a Full Book. And it is packed with resources and really just like the how does this work and what would it look like if I was to contribute to a multi-author book. So if you're kind of like, what would that be all about? I encourage you to check it out. I'll include my website also, so people can check out the book opportunities I currently have, and would love for people to connect with me on social media too.
Excellent. We'll put all those down in the show notes so you can check it out, connect with her. She does have a lot of great topics that come out. I mean, it feels like almost every 2, 3 months you're coming out with a new project, a new container to roll people into. And I do love the variety of the topics you cover because they are so soul-centered, and so
Mhm.
focused on healing and growth. There is very likely, if you are thinking about a multi-author book, if she doesn't have one now, she's got one coming up. So reach out to her, connect with her, and if she doesn't, and you pitch her an idea, and she might be like, "Well, that's a genius. Let's do that." So
Absolutely. That's one of my favorite things that I'm doing right now is partnering with publishing partners who want to bring the audience and I support with the publishing piece. It's incredible because it like brings that collaboration to the next level. So if you're like, wait a minute, I have a book idea and I have an audience, yeah, reach out to me because I'd love
yeah,
to visit with you about that too.
definitely. Very good. Thank you so much, Nicolette. It was great to have you back. Thanks for tuning in to I Wrote That. Don't forget to download your free copy of Author Your Way to kickstart your journey as an entrepreneur. You'll find the link in today's show notes. And if you enjoyed today's episode, we'd love for you to leave us a review. It helps more listeners like you discover the show. Until next time, happy writing.